Let's blessing this gathering with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله اصطفاك وطهرك واصطفاك على نساء العالمين. يا مريم اقنتي لربك واسجدي واركعي مع الراكعين. ذلك من أنباء الغيب نوحيه إليك وما كنت لديهم إذ يلقون أقلامهم أيهم يكفل مريم وما كنت لديهم إذ يختصمون إذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله يبشرك بكلمة منه اسمه المسيح عيسى ابن مريم وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة ومن المقربين. ويكلم الناس في المهد وكهلا ومن الصالحين. قالت رب أنى يكون لي ولد ولم يمسسني بشر قال كذلك الله يخلق ما يشاء إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. ويعلمه الكتاب والحكمة والتوراة والإنجيل ويعلمه الكتاب والتوراة التوراة والإنجيل ويعلمه الكتاب والحكمة والتوراة والإنجيل ورسولا إلى بني إسرائيل أني قد جئتكم بآية من ربكم أني أخلق لكم من الطين كهيئة الطير فأنفخ فيه فيكون طيرا بإذن الله وأبرئ الأكمه والأبرص وأحيي الموتى بإذن الله وأنبئكم بما تأكلون وما تدخرون في بيوتكم إن في ذلك لآية لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين ومصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ولأحل لكم بعض الذي حرم عليكم وجئتكم بآية من ربكم فاتقوا الله وجئتكم بآية من ربكم فاتقوا الله وأطيعون إن الله ربي وربكم فاعبدوه هذا صراط مستقيم صدق الله العلي العظيم صدق وبلغ رسوله النبي الأمين الكريم صلوات.
Jazakallah. Now I'll request Fatima Hussaini from the Jaferia Islamic School at Idara to come for translation.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. And when the angel said, O Mary, Allah has chosen you and purified you, and He has chosen you above the world's women. O Mary, be obedient to your Lord, and prostrate and bow down with those who bow in worship. These accounts are from the unseen, which we revealed to you, and you were not with them when they were casting lots to see which of them would take charge of Mary's care. Nor were they with them when they were contending. When the angel said, "O Mary, Allah gives you the good news of a word from him whose name is Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, distinguished in the world and the hereafter, and one of those brought near to Allah. He will speak to the people in the cradle and in adulthood, and will be one of the righteous." She said, "My Lord, how shall I have a child, seeing that no human has ever touched me?" He said, "So it is that Allah creates whatever He wishes. When He decides on a matter, He just says to it, 'Be,' and it is. He will teach him the book and wisdom, the Torah and the Evangel. And he will be an apostle to the children of Israel, and he will declare, 'I have certainly brought you a sign from your Lord. I will create for you the form of a bird out of clay. Then I will breathe into it, and it will become a bird by Allah's leave. I heal the blind and the leper, and I revive the dead by Allah's leave. I will tell you what you have eaten and what you have stored in your houses. There is indeed a sign in that for you, should you be faithful. And I come to confirm the truth of that which is before me of the Torah, and to make lawful for you some of the things that were forbidden you. I have brought you a sign from your Lord, so be wary of Allah and obey me. Indeed, Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so worship Him. This is a straight path. Holy true are the words of God." Salawat.
Thank you so much. And I should have mentioned when I introduced Sayyid Hadi Hashmi that he originally belongs to Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is an area where the Shia community has faced huge obstacles. Thank you very much, Sayyid, and thank you very much, Fatima. Just to give you an idea of the program, we will, after my very brief remarks after this, we will go to show you a short clip and documentary about what we are here about, what we are commemorating, what is it that we need to look at. And then we have great scholars from both our community and our special guests, who then I'll request all of them to be on the stage, and we'll go through that session. Very briefly, of course, looking at 5 years ago, when two very wise men came together quietly, Pope Francis and Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani, without any political theater, without any grand declaration, without any spectacle. What they were together was, and I'm sure all of you remember when they were shown all across the video streams across the world, holding their hands together, the longer they moved each other's hands, that touched everyone's heart. I, as an academic here based in Washington, D.C., received a very high number of questions. What is this all about, the love and affection? And what it was all about was about one point, which was they both showed the message that faith at its very core, at its very best, can heal wounded societies. And Muslims and Christians stand together for peace, for coexistence, and for the protection of those who are the most vulnerable. That was the message. And that's why we are here, and that's why that message has to be remembered every year. We'll straight go to
Two of its most respected religious figures sat across from one another in a modliest home in Najaf, Iraq. One was His Holiness Pope Francis, the 266th Pope of the
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. My distinguished Cardinal, Bishop, our esteemed guest, our great scholars, the great community of Idara-e-Jaferia, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Peace and blessing of Allah be upon all of you. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to officially, on behalf of great scholars of DMV, and also the community of Idara-e-Jaferia, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to Idara-e-Jaferia this evening. And indeed, it is an honor for us to host people who are very, very important in the world, and more so in this region, in this community, and in this part of the country. It is really a great honor that you coming here has added a value to our center and community. And I hope that you coming here is not the last time to step your foot in this great center. We hope that this is a good beginning of coming to Idara-e-Jaferia for many years to come and as long as you live. Because one thing I want to tell you, as a community of Idara-e-Jaferia, we might look very small, but we have a very big heart. That's something I can guarantee you that. And not only that, if you like to eat, I tell you, you're the good place. This is a community where food is very dear to our heart. And you can tell as you walk in our Idara, when you look on your left, the first building you see is called kitchen. And that should tell you a lot about this community. And they will do anything they can to make sure that you don't leave this place unless you're well fed. And if you're not lucky, you can get a lot of spicy food too. This is the community that we have. Welcoming, loving, caring, warming community as well. So from the bottom of our heart, we want to say welcome to all of you, and we hope that you enjoy this program, and we hope that we see you quite often in the near future. Quickly, without taking much of your time, who is Idara-e-Jaferia? What is this community is about? Just briefly, this community came a very long way. This community started with a good people who were immigrants from Pakistan, from India, came here for many reasons, for better their lives, their future, their children. While they're doing that, they realize we need a place where we can come together, practice our religious practices, come together to honor every year ceremony like Imam Hussein's martyrdom, and the list goes on. This community started by renting places, started from somebody's basement, and then goes from there to renting places, churches, and other places, until the journey took them to 1980, where they decided we need to have a place called our own. And doing so, looking around, searching, fortunately, this place that we call Idara-e-Jaferia came handy and became the place that they found. They built this first phase that you can see, which served almost every occasion that we have, starting with weddings, marriages, death anniversaries, the list goes on. And then with the community growing, they needed much bigger space. And this, what we call Imam Ali's wall, was also built to serve and cater the better and the bigger community as much as we could. That is what this community is all about. This community have served so much in this area, DMV, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and even people from West Virginia. They all come for many programs at this center, Idara-e-Jaferia. This center has served Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, Jews in many ways. And not only that, we also, every year, we have 2 special programs. One in the month of Ramadan, which is known as Interfaith, where we sit next to each other, Christians, Jews, to talk about religion, talk about the commonalities. Because we understood one thing, that in life, if you want to get somebody closer, the best thing is to talk about commonality among you, not the differences. The more you talk about the differences, the more you widen the gap between you and the others. So we understood that, and we do exactly what we talk about, looking at the commonalities, common grounds. For example, in the month of Ramadan, we do talk about how do you view fasting, because we understood that fasting, not only in Islam, in Christianity, is one of the holy acts as well. And we talk about these things to make sure that we bridge the gap among all those religions. Not only that, we also have what we call Savior Day, where we mark this program to talk about what we call Messiah, the Savior that we believe in, that is going to come to save the entire universe and rescue humanity. And the same thing in Christianity, and the same thing in other religions. So we mark this event every year to make sure that we bridge the gap among our religion. And we do so based on what you just saw in that clip, based on our leader, Samahat Ayatollah Al-Uzma, As-Sayyid Elias Sistani, who urges us to work hand by hand with other religions, whether it's interfaith or intrafaith, to work and make sure that we build these bridges. At the time where the world is working to break those bridges, we want to build those bridges. Because we know one thing, no matter what we do, whatever religion we are, whatever religion you call yourself, we know no religion promotes anything called violence. Every religion works and calls tolerance, forgiveness, love, and care. And that's what we are all about. And that's what this is all about. So this center has been nothing but that. And the leadership of great scholars in DMV area, where you can see many of them are here. This gathering is nothing but the effort of these great scholars that has brought us to this gathering. And we hope that this meeting will be a stepping stone, not just for this community, it's also for the world. At the time we see that the world has used religion to kill each other, to promote hatred, we want to show the world that religion is not about violence. It's rather about love and care. And it's okay and can be done that religion or religious differences can bring us together to work together as one team. And that's what this gathering is about. So without further ado, I would like to thank all of you for coming. And I hope that we're going to see you more often. And please feel free to enjoy you being here. And anything we can do as a community to make sure that you're comfortable in this building, please let us do. Because we really want you to come back again. And we want you to enjoy your visit. Let me finish with this. You know, in Africa, especially in Ghana, we have a saying. If you want a lot of pigeons to come, if you like pigeons and you want to own a lot of pigeons, there's one way to go. Just catch one pigeon and give it sugar. And that pigeon will bring a lot of pigeons for you. So what we want to do, since you're here, we want to make sure that you get the sugar of Idara-e-Jaferia, so you can bring more of you to enjoy these kind of gatherings more and more as time goes. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate you being here. And indeed, you being here means a lot to us. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for those very wise words. I also take this opportunity to welcome many members of the local communities. We see many from CARE, from other organizations. We welcome them as well. Before I introduce the next speaker, I'll just quote from a very powerful quote from Pope Leo XIV, the current Pope. He says that every authentic journey towards unity and communion requires hearts to open up. It requires hearts to encounter and a dialogue to start so as to embrace one another in genuine fraternity. In that spirit of Pope Leo, I now introduce our special guest, Bishop Elias Lorenzo, who will later on introduce, who will first provide us his remarks, and then he will introduce our special guest, His Eminence Cardinal Robert McElroy as well. But as regards the bishop, he's a Benedict monk of St. Mary's Abbey in Morristown, New Jersey. He was ordained to priesthood in 1989, and then Pope Francis, in fact, nominated him to be auxiliary bishop in the Archdiocese of Newark in 2020. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, he also studied at various places, but also at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C., our own very Washington, D.C. He served in various positions in teaching and scholarship, and these are too many for me to mention, but one very important thing that came out of his bio is that he served personally on medical missions across the world, in Bolivia, in China, in Honduras, in India, in Kenya, in Nicaragua, in Philippines, and he has traveled around the world for his cause and mission. Besides his teaching and educational activities, he also actively is a participant in interfaith dialogues. And he was elected to, as I had mentioned, various committees and various commissions. And he currently also serves as co-chairman of National Catholic Muslim Dialogue in Chicago. We are truly honored to welcome the bishop and would welcome his remarks. And then he will introduce our chief guest as well.
I'm vertically challenged. Thank you. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, distinguished scholars, respected leaders of the Greater Washington Chapter of the Council of Shia Muslim Scholars of North America, honored elders, and dear friends. Along with His Eminence Cardinal McElroy, I am deeply grateful for the invitation to be with you today in this sacred place, and I thank you for your generous hospitality. It is a privilege to join you in commemorating the 5th anniversary of the historic meeting of the Najaf meeting between His Holiness Pope Francis and the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Ali al-Sistani, a meeting whose significance continues to resonate far beyond that single moment in time. That encounter was not a political gesture, nor a symbolic courtesy. It was a profound act of moral witness. It demonstrated that authentic religious leadership speaks most powerfully through humility, listening, and shared responsibility for the dignity of every person. In a world fractured by conflict, suspicion, and the exploitation of religion for violence, that meeting offered a different vision, one rooted in conscience, restraint, and peace. For the Catholic Church, the meeting reflected a conviction that has been deepening for decades, that interreligious engagement, especially with Islam, is not optional, but essential for our moral vocation in the modern world. This conviction has been articulated and strengthened through sustained initiatives of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops' National Catholic Muslim Dialogue, which for many years has brought Catholic bishops and Muslim scholars together in structured, sustained conversations marked by honesty, respect, and intellectual rigor. The United States Conference Catholic Bishops' National Catholic Dialogue offers an important model on how such engagement can take shape, not as episodic encounters, but as an ongoing process grounded in mutual listening, trust building, and shared concern for the common good. Its history and format remind us that genuine dialogue requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to listen deeply, especially amidst disagreement. Its continued importance is all the more evident today in light of the leadership and witness of the late Pope Francis and today with Pope Leo XIV, both of whom have emphasized that dialogue across religious traditions is a concrete expression of faith, not a departure from it. For Shia Islam, Najaf stands as a center of moral authority built on scholarship, independence of conscience, and responsibility toward society, values that command deep respect far beyond the Shia community itself. What united Pope Francis and Grand Ayatollah al-Sistani was not theological agreement, but a shared moral clarity that faith must never be used to justify oppression, that the poor, the displaced, and the marginalized must never be forgotten, and that the sanctity of human life transcends borders, sects, and ideologies. As we look back 5 years later, the importance of that meeting has only grown. Sadly, we continue to witness war, religious persecution, the erosion of truth, and growing indifference to human suffering. Against this backdrop, Najaf remains a moral reference point, a reminder that religious leaders have a unique responsibility to defend the vulnerable, restrain power, and promote peace rooted in justice. Gatherings such as this one matter, especially in these days. They remind us that Catholic-Shia relationships are not abstract ideas, but living commitments expressed through dialogue, friendship, and cooperation. Through the work of bodies such as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Catholic Church continues to affirm that interfaith dialogue is not merely aspirational, but practical, fostering mutual understanding, reducing suspicion, and opening space for collaboration in service to human dignity and social peace. I wish to express particular appreciation to the scholars and leaders of this community for your continued investment in interfaith dialogue, not as a public relations effort, but as a moral duty. When faith communities encounter one another sincerely, they help heal a world suffering from division and despair. As a bishop of the Catholic Church, I affirm my hope that the spirit of Najaf will continue to guide us, encouraging us to listen more deeply, to stand together against injustice, and to teach future generations that faith is a force for reconciliation, not conflict. May God, the merciful and the just, bless this gathering, bless your community, and bless our shared efforts for peace. And may the legacy of Najaf continue to inspire courage, humility, and hope in all who seek good for humanity. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker for this important commemoration, His Eminence Cardinal Robert McElroy, Archbishop of Washington. A son of San Francisco, Robert McElroy studied at Harvard College and graduated with a bachelor's degree in American history. He then attended Stanford University, graduating with a master's degree in American history and a doctorate in political science. He studied theology at St. Patrick's Seminary, earning a Master of Divinity, and then received a licentiate in sacred theology at the Jesuit School of Theology in Berkeley. He went on to earn a second doctorate in moral theology from the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome. Robert McElroy was ordained a priest for the Archdiocese of San Francisco in 1980, serving in various parishes of that archdiocese. In 1995, then Father McElroy was appointed Vicar General and later made a Prelate of Honor, a Monsignor, by Pope St. John Paul II. In 2010, Pope Benedict XVI made then Monsignor McElroy an Auxiliary Bishop of San Francisco. In 2015, Pope Francis appointed him the sixth Bishop of San Diego. In 2022, the same Pope Francis appointed then Bishop McElroy to the Cardinal College of Cardinals. In 2025, Pope Francis appointed Cardinal McElroy the eighth Archbishop of Washington. Cardinal McElroy is a member of various departments of the Vatican, the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, and the Dicastery for Laity, Family, and Life. Cardinal McElroy is a widely respected pastor, theologian, church leader whose ministry has consistently emphasized the gospel call to encounter, dialogue, and accompaniment. Since his appointment as Archbishop, he has brought a deep commitment to engaging the moral challenges of our time, among them the pursuit of peace, the defense of human dignity, the building of bridges across the lines of religion and cultures. Cardinal McElroy has been a close collaborator in advancing the Church's vision of interreligious and interfaith engagement, especially in relation to the Muslim world. He served as chairman of the Western Regional Catholic-Muslim Dialogue and was instrumental in reforming those regional dialogues into a national dialogue. He has spoken persuasively about the necessity of dialogue rooted not in convenience or diplomacy, but in moral conviction, the belief that religious communities bear a shared responsibility to oppose violence, defend the vulnerable, and foster social harmony. At a moment when misunderstanding and polarization too often shape our public discourse, Cardinal McElroy's voice reminds us that faith, when authentically lived, draws us toward encounter rather than exclusion. His leadership reflects the very spirit we commemorate today, the spirit exemplified in Najaf, where humility, moral courage, and respect opens new pathways of hope between religious traditions. We are deeply grateful for his presence among us and for his willingness to address us as we honor Catholic-Muslim dialogue on this 5th anniversary of the historic summit. Please join me in welcoming His Eminence, Cardinal Robert McElroy.
Thank you, Bishop Elias. In October, when members of the council came to my office to welcome me very beautifully to the Archdiocese of Washington, we had a great moment of encounter and dialogue and celebration. And at that moment, you gave me a picture of the summit, of Pope Francis and the Grand Ayatollah. And I have that picture in a place of prominence in my office, which I honor and which honors me and helps to direct me in all that I do, particularly in interfaith relations and with the Muslim community. Thank you. It is wonderful to be here in this center, and I thank you for inviting me to it. As I speak, I could see the beautiful shrine in back here, which is just beautiful and reminds me of the great faith and tradition of Islam and of the Shia testimony of faith to Allah. And as I speak and see this beauty, it reminds me that God is the one who binds us all together, because God is the author of all life and makes us one. The summit itself was enshrouded in deep symbolic measures of mutual respect between the two religious leaders, the Grand Ayatollah al-Sistani and Pope Francis. And it's a sign of the mutual respect that should characterize all relationships between Muslims and Catholics, and between all people of faith in this world. Pope Francis took off his shoes as he entered the Ayatollah's home, and Ayatollah al-Sistani rose to greet him. These two gestures conveyed such depth and profound beauty of the relationship that they had established and called the world to establish in all of our relationships together. Understanding that God, who has created every blessing that we know in this world, that God stands with us and calls us to be and embrace one another. In these two gestures of esteem rooted in God and our human dignity that crosses every barrier of religious conflict, the importance of the summit reverberates to this present moment, signaling how far we have come and yet how much farther we have to go in order to attain God's vision of unity and embrace between our two religious communities. In being here today, in undertaking the dialogues which Bishop Lorenzo spoke about, we are furthering the will of God, of Allah, who calls us to see one another truly as brothers and sisters, first and foremost. During the summit, the role of our common faith as a source of union rather than conflict was a central theme. I remember when I was a new bishop in 2010, chairing the Catholic-Muslim dialogue for the Western United States. Dr. Saeed Mustafa Al-Qazwini, whom you know, was giving a presentation to us on the common elements of faith that bound us together on the deepest level. At that moment, and again in the moment when we heard the reading today from the Quran on Mary, the mother of Jesus, which binds us together so powerfully. At that moment, my own desire for Catholic-Muslim dialogue changed from being a commitment rooted in the importance of unity among diverse religious communities to a commitment rooted in the profound common ties of faith that I had been unaware of before. And those dialogues helped me to understand the beauty of the faith which unites in greater depth. It is this quest for understanding in the common affirmations of faith that is the firmest and most important foundation for a sustainable relationship among our communities of faith, of seeing the beauty, the treasure in each of our religious traditions, of seeing the truth that is there, in seeing the presence of God. Both Pope Francis and the Grand Ayatollah recognized this, and they took steps to ensure progress in mutual dialogue and the search for truth that have been borne great fruit over the past 5 years. Thank God, thank Allah. We ourselves must deepen and encourage this quest for truth, and we must follow the impulse, the religious impulse, that turns us all toward the one and eternal God. A second theme of the summit was the common assertion of the dignity of the human person. Rooted in God and the moral life is this authentic foundation for building societies reflective of God's call to us. The statement of the Ayatollah outlined the broad scope of the assaults on human dignity in the world. Quote, injustice, oppression, poverty, religious and intellectual persecution, the suppression of basic freedom, and the absence of social justice. Both Pope Francis and the Grand Ayatollah witnessed to these same realities and the fundamental role of religious communities in combating them. Let us always, unceasingly, combat them arm in arm together. They made clear that for our two faiths, combating these evils within the global family constitute major elements of our mission for God. The events of the last 5 years have made it ever more clear that this pivotal mission of faith in the world has only grown more urgent rather than less. For us here in Washington, may the safeguarding of all of the dignity of the men and women and families in DMV be a growing source of common witness by the Council of Shia Scholars and the Archdiocese. For our nation was founded in the belief in the experiment of democracy, whose 250th anniversary we celebrate today. The founders believed that it would be enriched and safeguarded by constant religious witness against injustice. Never has the need for that witness been more apparent. Finally, the Najaf Summit pointed to the urgency of a global interreligious witness for an end to war in the world. Tragically, we mark this 5th anniversary in a moment of warfare between the United States and Iran. Catholic teaching proclaims that in keeping with the teachings of Jesus Christ to be peacemakers in the world, Christians should always try to seek to avoid war because it is so fundamentally contradictory to the will of God for humanity. It is a sign of the evil impulses within the human heart that are amplified by weapons of mass destruction in our own age. Catholic teaching recognizes there are rare instances in which recourse to war may be justified, but even in such a case, the launching of a war can only be contemplated if 5 conditions are simultaneously met. First, the attack upon our country or other injured nation must be grave and lasting and immediate. Secondly, all other means of resolving the conflict must have been tried. Thirdly, the destructive consequences of going to war must not outweigh the good that war may accomplish. Fourth, the government is seeking war for a right reason, that is, the restoration of peace with justice. And fifth, those entrusted with the common good in society must approve the recourse to war. Our current war with Iran does not meet these criteria for 3 reasons. The destructive consequences of this war in terms of lives, economic disruption, and human suffering have clearly outweighed its accomplishment for good, with no end in sight. Secondly, our government has no clear intention. Rather, its intention has shifted on an almost daily basis. Thirdly, the decision to go to war was not precipitated by an immediate and grave threat. This was a preventative war based on potential injuries in the future, which has not allowed such an attack in Catholic teaching. Pope Leo has been unrelenting in his calls for peace amidst this conflict. And this night I know those calls for peace encompass us all here. They echo the beautiful vision and urgency present 5 years ago when Grand Ayatollah al-Sistani and Pope Francis met so dramatically at Najaf. And in honoring them and the summit tonight, we are giving praise to God as people of the book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cardinal, for your very thought-provoking and very profound ideas. We'll also take this opportunity to, I'll request Sayyid Kashmiri and Sheikh Nawai to present the gifts to the honorable guest, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the program. Please. We have gifts also for our rest of our guests also, which are on that side. Absolutely. Yes. I also take this opportunity to present you the book I wrote on Ali ibn Abi Talib. And that's also. Thank you so much. So let's take a picture. Yes. Okay. We are truly grateful for your very thought-provoking ideas, and I assure you, we could all sense and see that every word that you were speaking was coming from your heart. And I promise you that this will stay in our hearts, and we will hope to have many, many more interactions with you and to learn from you and your wisdom and your community. Thank you very much again. This brings us to the two more speakers, last but not the least at all. But now I have the honor to introduce Imam Sayyid Muhammad Baqir Kashmiri, whose most important responsibility and task and title is that he's the representative of Najaf, the religious authority, the great Sayyid Ali Sistani. He himself comes from a very distinguished family. His father, his grandfather, they were both very eminent scholars. And his family's offices and their representatives in Iraq, Iran, India, Pakistan have served the communities for around 1,000 years. So we were really grateful for his presence here. He's also, other than being a religious scholar of this eminence and excellence, he's also founder and religious affairs director of Imam Mehdi Association of Marjaiya by the name Imam. We highly encourage you to visit the website. It is the liaison office for the office of Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani. One other thing that I would mention before I request him to come to the stage is that he's also responsible for and given the credit for a declaration and that he had developed. It was called the Washington Declaration. It was a code of honor for Sunni and Shia Muslims of North America to stand against violence and extremism. And he's also a co-founder of Shia and Sunni Alliance Forum. We are truly honored by his presence, and the communities have benefited from his great wisdom. Sayyid, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. Our distinguished guest, Your Excellency Cardinal Robert McElroy, esteemed faith leaders, respected officials, dear sisters and brothers, peace be upon you all, and good evening. I would like to title my remarks as what you maybe noticed from the short video a few minutes ago. We are part of you, and you are part of us. More than 14 centuries ago, in 631 CE, 9th Hijri calendar, the city of Al-Madinah al-Munawwar in Arabia Peninsula witnessed one of the earliest and most meaningful examples of Muslim-Christian dialogue, when Prophet Muhammad welcomed a delegation of bishops from Najaf city. Their meeting was founded upon mutual respect, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. It established a lasting principle for humanity that people, different faith, can meet with dignity, sincerity, and shared moral purpose. It was, as thought, the spirit of that gathering proclaimed, "You are part of us, and we are part of you." Nearly 2 centuries later, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, the 8th infallible Imam from the family, lineage, ancestry of Prophet Muhammad, welcomed representatives of faiths in Khurasan, East Iran. Through dialogue, wisdom, and intellectual openness, Imam al-Rida demonstrated that knowledge and faith should unite people rather than divided them. Those who met him experienced compassion, respect, and spiritual closeness. Once again, the message was clear: you are part of us, and we are part of you. As a legacy, today in Najaf, the Najaf Seminary continues this tradition for more than 1,000 years. The Najaf Seminary has remained one of the world's leading centers of Islamic scholarship, ethical leadership, and independent religious thought. Beyond education, it has played a major role in promoting modernity, in promoting moderation, social responsibilities, coexistence, and service to humanity. This historical legacy was reflected powerfully on March 6, 2021, when His Holiness Pope Francis met Supreme Religious Authority Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Sistani in the holy city of Najaf. The Najaf Summit became a landmark moment in modern interfaith relations and a symbol of hope for people around the world. It demonstrated that authentic religious leadership can stand together in support of peace, human dignity, coexistence, and the protections of oppressed, and to repeat, we are part of you and you are part of us. The summit also strengthened relations between Najaf and Vatican, opening broader avenues for dialogues and cooperation between Shia Muslim and Catholic. At a time marked by wars, violence, displacement, killing, and genocide, the message of Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani has consistently called for civil peace, the protections of minorities, respect among communities, and opposition to extremes and oppression. Likewise, late Pope Francis left a lasting legacy through his commitment to human fraternity and peaceful coexistence. Today, we also express our appreciation for the principled positions of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV and Your Excellency Cardinal McElroy in opposing war, violence, and oppression, and in advocating for peace, social justice, and human dignity. In a world increasingly divided by fear and conflict, gatherings such as this remind us that our shared humanity is greater than our differences, and through that shared spirit, we continue to say to one another, "You are part of us, we are part of you." God bless you, and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Sayyid, for your great insights and for also providing the wisdom and providing guidance to the whole community. And through your office and through your efforts, we feel connected to Najaf. The credit goes to you and all the great scholars in this room. And when we were hearing the great ideas, constantly one sentence and one quote has been ringing in everyone's ears, I'm sure, but our guests may not have heard that, or I'm sure they have heard it, but I would repeat, which is Imam Ali alayhi salam, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the most famous words which have inspired us to be on this path. People are of two kinds. Either you are our brothers in faith or our brothers in humanity. So I was reminded of that when Sayyid Kashmiri said, "You are with us, you are in us, we are with you and in you." Thank you very much. This brings me to the last speaker, but as we say, last but not the least of our important and distinguished guests, Sayyid Ali Ghazwini. And before I introduce him, I'll also have to say something about California, because if that surprises you, two of our very eminent guests, they came to US through California. Sayyid Ali Ghazwini and Sayyid Bakir Kashmiri. Am I right, Sayyid Kashmiri? So there's something that attracted us in California. And the Cardinal, of course. Sorry, that was the reason why it inspired me, the San Francisco. And especially that's what had inspired the idea, and I forgot the most important part. Thank you. And also, I was personally glad.
There's a message that California still exists.
California still exists, absolutely. And also, he's a PhD in political science. I felt very good when I heard that. We're truly honored by these accomplishments. And this reminds me also of with this introduction of this quote from Sayyid Ali, Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani, when after that great event, he just gave two sentences which are very profound. He said, "Prioritize reason and wisdom." And he said, "Consolidate harmony, peaceful coexistence, and human solidarity." So we have heard from all our speakers about human dignity, human solidarity. That shows us religion in their worldview of these great giants is something which is all about human brotherness, kindness, and our solidarity. So Sayyid Ali Ghazwini is from a family of renowned scholars. His father, still very recently, even now, leads prayers on every Friday in Karbala. And the family has built one of the finest and most advanced hospitals in Karbala. So they are providing us leadership not only in a religious sense, but also for the real cause of humanity and for healthcare. He's director of As-Sadiq Foundation, a Muslim county center in Pomona, California, where he worked for many years. He was also a resident scholar of an Imam of Islamic Center of Fresno, California for 20 years. And he was co-chair of the Interfaith Alliance of Central California. Since he moved to Washington, D.C. about hardly, I think, 2.5 years ago, he's also, while in his new capacity, he's also the co-founder and president of the Development and Relief Foundation, DRF, a charity that is focused on empowering communities through access to high quality education and healthcare. We are truly honored, and especially I have to remember and mention the name of the organization which is making this event possible, the Council of Shia Muslim Scholars of North America. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sorry. Dr. Hassan Abbas, thank you very much for your generous introduction and for your beautiful remarks, and also managing this program right on a schedule. Wonderful, thank you. Your Eminence Cardinal Robert McElroy, Bishop Elias Lorenzo, Imam Abdul Jalil Nawi, distinguished Imams, respected ulama, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with you. Your Eminence, I had the honor to get to see you last night and this evening as well, and I thought, oh my God, this is a great blessings, and I am so lucky. And now I'm seriously thinking of buying a lottery. I think I will win. The problem is our faith does not allow that. So I thought maybe you can give me $20 and then I would obtain it, and then we share the money. It's a good idea, right? That would be a hot news. A cardinal and an imam purchasing a lottery. This would be the headline of CNN, I guess. Yeah. And I hope Rome and Najaf would be fine with that as well. All right. As we come to the close of this beautiful and meaningful gathering, we do so with hearts filled with gratitude, reflection, and renewed hope. We are honored by the presence of Your Eminence, Cardinal McElroy, your commitment to civil rights, your advocacy for immigrant communities, and your principled defense of religious freedom are source of inspiration for all of us. Your recent remarks and your remarks today in this session, calling attention to the immoral war and the responsibility of the faithful, resonate deeply with all people who seek peace and justice. And I must say, Your Eminence, in today's world, speaking clearly about peace and justice is not always the easiest path, but it is certainly the most necessary one. We are also very grateful to Bishop Elias Lorenzo. Bishop, your presence brings both warmth and strength to this gathering, and your remarks as well, your wisdom. And we truly appreciate your willingness not only to travel all the way from New Jersey to here, but also to offer your excellent remarks and to introduce His Eminence Cardinal McElroy. Your leadership in strengthening Catholic-Muslim relations reflect the true spirit of dialogue, not only meeting, but building a trust. And we look forward to continuing this journey together. Yes, including, if I may gently say, expanding participation so that our Shia community is a bit more fully represented. And we are looking forward to hosting the next in-person National Catholic Muslim Dialogue at the Crescent Islamic Center next September, inshallah. And I also would like to acknowledge the members of the National Catholic Muslims Dialogue who are here. Please stand up so everybody would recognize you. Dr. Jordan, yes, and also Bishop Elias is the co-chair of that dialogue, and I am a proud member of that group. We also express our appreciation for the leadership of Pope Leo XIV, whose commitment to peace, dialogue, and moral courage continues to inspire. His clear stance against violence and the misuse of God's name remind us of truth we all share. Faith must never be used as a weapon to wage wars. Faith must always be a bridge to bring humanity together. Likewise, we are deeply grateful for the guidance of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Ali al-Sistani, whose wisdom has shaped a model of leadership rooted in justice, restraint, and responsibility. His example reminds us that sometimes the calmest voices carry the greatest influence. Today, as we reflect on the historic summit in Najaf, we also recognize the challenges before us. Our world continues to face conflicts, displacements, and hardship. Millions are displaced due to immoral wars, and thousands are held at immigration detention centers. However, gatherings like this give us hope, because when people of faith come together, not to debate who is right, but to work toward what is right, we begin to change the narrative. If we can stand together in rooms like this, we can stand together in the world beyond this room. And that is where real change begins. Looking forward and looking ahead, we are committed to strengthen Shia-Catholic relations through dialogue, partnership, education, and services. We believe this is not just a relationship, it's a responsibility. And before I conclude with a short prayer, I would like to thank the generous community of Idara for hosting, and also board members, and also the president, Dr. Ghulam Abbas. Where are you, Dr. Ghulam Abbas? Dr. Ghulam Abbas. A round of applause for Dr. Ghulam Abbas and for the generous community of Idara. Looking forward for you to join us at other events organized by the Council of the Shia Muslim Scholars of Northern California, the greater Northern Virginia, Northern America actually, but the great chapter of DC, Washington, D.C. By the way, I hope Your Eminence, Washington is treating you well. Yeah, hopefully. All right, thank you for hosting us. Looking forward to see you in future events. And if you are interested to volunteer with the council, please see me or see any member of the council. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me conclude with the dua. I'm sorry. Almighty God, God of all prophets and all humans, you are the source of peace, mercy, love, and blessings. Guide our hearts toward understanding and our actions toward justice and compassion. Bless our efforts to promote peace and build bridges, and remove from our hearts all hatred, division, and fear. Help those who suffer from war and displacement. Provide relief to the oppressed and the occupied, and bring comfort to those who have lost loved ones. Inspire our leaders to act with wisdom and moral courage, and help us all to stand for truth with sincerity. Make us agents of your peace, serving humanity honoring dignity, and upholding justice. Amen. Thank you.
As they say, all good things must come to an end. Although I have my doubts, I always think this about this idiom. We should say all good things always stay. So these good words will stay in our hearts. And if, in a lighter vein, if I may just say that, we must acknowledge and appreciate that with so many scholars, religious scholars, they all were very short, precise, focused. And normally religious scholars take a lot of time, which we appreciate that. But this is a great precedent. I would end with one request, which is, of course, these gifts are meant for our special guests who have come with the Cardinal. So please pick your gifts, which are you see right on that table. On either side, and also our guests who have come from different communities here, please pick your gift at the end. We'll end with just one sentence, which I picked Pope Leo's words, which really stayed with my heart. And so let's become, in his words, artisans of peace, witnesses of hope, and builders of true fraternity. Thank you very much.
So let me ask you to, first we take photos with the speakers on the panel, and then with the members of the Imam Council, please, the scholars of the Shia Council. And then also I would like to ask members of the National Muslim Catholic Dialogues to join us, and then later. So step by step, please, if you can. Please, thank you.
And for everyone, there is arrangement for light snacks and food afterwards, and our guests will be here if you want to interact further towards the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good work.